We have someone who did the quantitative surveying, the first quantitative surveyor in Karamoja. He's in this training. She has never been employed for 10 years.
You can have now even a PhD holder who cannot manage a company. You see, we have PhD holders who have lost jobs. They came to formal employment, they had PhDs, but they cannot measure up.
Hi guys, my name is Becky Faith Nachuge, and I want to welcome all of you to my new YouTube channel. My YouTube channel goes by the name Anupi Conversations, and in this channel we are going to talk about life, just about everything that life has to offer us, and we have challenges, and maybe we need to talk and discuss with one another. So feel free to subscribe, like, and share. Welcome. So this week we are going to talk about unemployment among the youth. I think it's a problem everywhere, in Africa, Uganda, and specifically in our case here in Karamoja. Karamoja is in the northeastern part of Uganda, for those people who are outside Uganda. Now, I was privileged to attend a training organized by the district woman MP for Napak district, and the training was about helping the unemployed youth to get jobs and to create jobs. So let's find out and we learn more from what was shared in that training. Thank you.
I heard about this training from my mom. She works at the district headquarters. So it was posted and she encouraged me to apply. So I applied and I was called to come for the training. I graduated in December 2023 with a Bachelor of Engineering in Civil and Building Engineering. This training has been only 2 days, but I have learned so much. The information I've learned from this is worth like 1 week's knowledge. The thing I learned the most that really helped me was the CV, how to write a CV and a cover letter. Before I had an old-fashioned CV from back in those days. It was like 5 pages long, and every time people would be telling me, your CV is not supposed to go beyond 2 pages. But I'd be thinking to myself, how do I shrink it while retaining all this information? Now that's a skill I have learned properly from here. And for that, I'm very grateful to the Honorable for bringing us a qualified consultant. And then also the cover letter. When you see the cover letters I used to write before, they're even embarrassing. Yes, so the cover letter, I have learned how to apply, and also she taught us so much about how to thrive in the job market. And she taught us not only how to find jobs, but how to even look for jobs in difficult situations. And after this training, I think I can say I'm even excited to go and try out the opportunities that wait for us out there. You see, most times when you're there after graduating or in that wait for graduation, it's also a long 9 months when you're sitting at home and you're not doing much. You get so many thoughts: who's going to employ me, who's going to come for me? But with this training, the consultant has showed us so many different ways to go looking for jobs, because like only 5% of the jobs in the country are applied. You actually have to go and hunt for those jobs. So it's encouraging to know that there is hope. You're not going to just be sitting there at home, and your skills are going to be put to good use. So I'm very grateful for this, and it would be good if this happens every year, to keep encouraging the new graduates also. And exactly, to get the skill and not to just sit at home, because it's very easy to have that sit back failure attitude, thinking that nothing is going to work out. What this has really like opened my eyes, and I'm very grateful for this.
So my presentation will be on jobs. I can say formal jobs. How to find one, I think that has also already been talked about. How to retain it and grow.
Okay, the training has been useful to me. Previously, I didn't know even how to write CVs, but now I have learned. And I think if I can also be competitive in any job, I think I can also make it, because we have, in quantity surveying, we also have various course units where I can fit somewhere. Like in civil engineering, I can do construction works, I can do BOQ writings, I can also do plan drawings. Yes.
Okay? So, my session is basically for all of us to discuss strategies of finding jobs in the current and future context, to discuss ways of retaining or holding onto the job, because we also have a problem in it.
To most of the youth who are out there, I think it is good to always have a positive mind in everything, than to say, oh, it is such and such a person calling, the way I also had people say, why an honorable? Maybe she wants to, she's campaigning. But I said no. Since she's already our woman member of parliament, it may not be the case. She might be helping us. Let me go. But I'll tell them, always take things in a positive way and let anybody not lure you out there. Because some are jobbing and actually stepping on you. And then for you sit there thinking they will ever help you. You have to make also a step and move ahead. Learn like us. For me, I've learned. You should also come and learn.
The current and future job market are highly specialized. You need skills to compete and competencies. IT, jobs are going into IT. You no longer read generally. Tama gimio diongwacha ekara peta kwa na benenchi ebuni eti. Ebe kamangolo, and that is actually where we have our problem as a nyetunga kona nkare mojo. Iriamuni yongo tare yesterday was someone who has been called, who was given a job in UNRWA, an engineer, but he's still doing PDM work in Kotido. Nyechamita via gitieketi. Ebe nyamlu a PDM 50,000 per day. Yeah? So
the only thing I was using for searching jobs was WhatsApp, just connecting with friends. Now I've gained more skills that you can use Twitter, you can use LinkedIn, you can use Uganda Great Jobs, you can use Uganda Job Line, you can use Karamaja Job Line. So there are a lot of things in searching the job. Then at the same time, I've learned on how to maintain a job. So maintenance of a job is the integrity during times of work and the place of work. And at the same time, you need to have a good working relationship with the staff that you are working with. And at the same time, you need to produce better results for the work that you have done.
You should be ambitious. You should be ambitious like Honorable Faith. She applied from the university to a CFO position.
I come from Atanj sub-county, which is in Napak district. I hold a bachelor's degree in community psychology from Makerere University, which I enrolled in 2012 and completed in 2015 and had my graduation in 2016.
Competence-based interviews, behavioral, motivation-based, technical-based, commercial-based. How much profits you will be putting to the organ. Competence looks at your experience.
We are here just to train you on the job readiness aspect. What you need to know, before you leave here, you have to take one thing, how to create a job in a difficult situation. Whether you went to school long time ago and graduated, or you've just graduated of recent. And she said, secondly, you have to go from here knowing with our knowledge that we are going to impact on you through the other trainers, that how to create a job and grow in it. And then lastly, I remember she said randomly that you also have to live here knowing how to create a job for yourself and also for others and leave the aspect of selfishness.
Busy cover letters and CVs. So what happens? Get a team player, conflict manager, result focus. If those three words don't appear in your CV or cover letter, the system pushes you out. Then why do you want this job? Demonstrate. I am applying for this job because, one, have experience in this.
Okay, maybe before I say this, I want to say again that all of us are job seekers, including us who are here, who have jobs. So all of us are job seekers. So for you who are also trying to look for a job, just know other people are also looking for the same jobs that you're looking for. So that's one purpose. Then again, just like Peter said that, don't only look for a job, also look at opportunities within those jobs. At the end of the day, the organization needs your deliverable. So that's the point of the job retention. So there are a lot of things that we struggle when we get into the job. Retention now comes in terms of your own personal capacity. Public speaking. You see, you're already spoiling your job because of what you do. Preparation and quality is about knowing what your job requires.
Determine from day one, have a rough idea from day one of what you want to be and what you want to do. I interned at the New Vision, and I left the New Vision at the end of my university. And I left the New Vision in part because of the problems Napak faces. I realized that some well-placed person was abusing children on the streets and had a baby with them. And well-placed as he is still forsook the baby and the mother, who was underage. I filed a story. It refused to get published. That's when I left. So that's the last thing I did with the New Vision computer. I went to Facebook, created Karamaja Development Forum, and added Teba. And then we started a movement that became 6,000, 12,000 now on Facebook. If you go to Google and Google my name, there you will find my CV. You'll get a few results when you search Longoli Simon Peter. And so you'll get some of my work from the years past. So motivational people will say, have a vision. What's your goal? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Try and be that. But my email signature still remains.
If you don't know your job, your job ni alomari tu anakinga. You go up again orang. Ada ka chamta lusa kelot. Anto ane ponguni, you see another person going a lot town. Ada you put your time. At the end of the day, you don't know what you want to deliver. So you need to make sure that you follow what you want to deliver within your own plan. But if you keep following people, at the end of the day, you will not deliver. Creativity and innovation. I'll just give you this one based on my personal example. Just like Peter said that he applied 31 times. In 2021, I wanted an international job. And from June until October, I submitted 26 applications. 26 in a space of less than 6 months. And out of 26, I was only shortlisted in 4. 4 only. And I failed all the 3. Even the one which I got is not the one I was really determined to. Because the one I was really targeting. I did interviews even up to the last level. I knew this one I will get. But I was not given.
If you wanted to wait for Weltanga to advertise, you will not solve this food insecurity problem. The veterinarian who is in this room should start thinking about how to contribute to the problem that affects Napak, called food insecurity. Yeah? A lot of our drug shops are run by people who have never had the privilege of being where you are.
So you need to, by the time you get a job, by retaining that job, concentrate on your job. Don't even bother. That's not your business. So you need to make sure that you need to have an attitude that builds your job. I don't know these short supervisors. Inya gini ainsa. Hanya kari ain.
Is that true or false? A lot of our drug shops, even in my own village, I come from Namalu, you find someone who has never been to a medical school dispensing drugs. But I always find people who have been to medical school on the streets of Moroto looking for work. When you look at the problems, imagine a chain of solutions. Yeah? When you see a problem, imagine a chain of solutions. And when you imagine a chain of solutions, when you have come up with a chain of solutions, imagine yourself being at one of those points. You don't want to over-focus, over-narrow your focus. But I can tell you that also has its advantages, because it increases your availability, your presence, and helps you seek the skills that you need to better position yourself within that sector.
So every time you communicate official things, make sure you use, they call smart kind of language, clear indicators. Not every time you talk about someone. Imagine you are talking about the office. You are talking negatively. You are not communicating things that have impact. I have supervised so many people, and when you bring them for performance appraisal, so what do you say about yourself? How? You see, it's oro. But in terms of the actual performance deliverables, I think people are talking like this. Because in deliverable, right, clear, reporting. Since you set your targets, so reporting. You had committed 6 months ago, I will submit this number of reports. So yeah, I did reports every month. Then the time of delivery of report. Also, all those are marks. Then the actual report, have you even printed? Is it signed? Is it filed? Because these are audit issues. Professional networks. Again, professional network is not built by just joining groups. Just like the people are joining and exiting WhatsApp groups. You join this one, exit on this one, join this one, talk like this, forward this message, bring here. At the end of the day, it's not a professional network. Like now for you engineers, are you in the professional association of engineers?
Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Becky. My name is Peter Loru. I work for the United Nations World Food Program based in South Sudan as a consultant for agribusiness development. So my work is basically supporting smallholder farmers to commercialize in South Sudan, building their capacities around market access, post-harvest management, and everything to do with the value chains in South Sudan. So one common thing is that our graduates have challenges. They also have strength, but they have challenges. Strength in that they are, first of all, the system would wish to employ them. They are qualified. And of course, secondly, is affirmative action in some of these organizations. And we try as much as possible to be able to push that agenda, the localization agenda of some of these organizations. And we have done that by actually trying to put in internship positions, open positions, and being able to sit in the panel to be able to see that the interests of the locals are taken care of. One of the challenges has been the issue of writing a CV, a selling CV and a selling cover letter. Because the system in most cases screens them off, they even don't appear in the long list. So by the time you look at the long list, and there are of course people who have been calling to tell that they applied for this position, you find that they don't appear in the long list because they probably didn't look at the advert and match their competencies with the requirements in the advert. So you find that the screening system pushes them out at that level. Then for those who come to the written, in WFP we have written. When they come to the written, I've also had the opportunity to mark some of these written tests. I set the questions and I also mark. Of course, having known probably that some people have come into the written test, the locals, when you try to mark, you find really the content wanting in terms of the technical preparedness, how they answer questions, the technical questions. Of course, they are at that level, some of them fall out. And then there are those who proceed to the oral levels, and you really find that very few make it to the final stage, just because someone is ill prepared in terms of answering the competence-based questions, which are common in most panels now. So the lack of preparation, and of course these days with the IT, they are given the opportunity to sit for exams wherever they are. You find the issue of connectivity, or they have entered probably the inappropriate location where probably there are people moving around, making noise while you are trying to interview them. And of course, when they are giving their examples, really you find that they are giving examples which are not really in tandem to the mandate of the organization they are applying for. For instance, if I'm interviewing someone for a WFP job and you are giving me experience of veterinary, WFP definitely doesn't offer veterinary jobs. So those are some of the things, the relevant examples, the issue, writing CVs and cover letter. There are so many materials that these youth can use. Online, they can generate CVs. It's a matter of keeping to orient them that these days computers can do them a number of things. And I like this kind of conversations. Some are appreciating. Much as they go to school, the issue of letter writing and cover letter writing and CV is not anywhere. There is an assumption throughout the whole education system. I think for my case, my letter writing for jobs stopped in senior 4 when I was taking English. Yeah? I think from that point on, you are on your own. They assume that having been being a university student, you should be able to look for such materials by yourself. You are able to research on how to do a cover letter. You are able to research on how to do a CV. But I think this is a neglected part on the part of the education system, but also the individuals who are supposed to look for this information. Because as a graduate, you're expected to look for this information. You are supposed to do research. But in the event that we are seeing this problem, as it's a common problem, it means you have to step in and give guidance to some of these graduates who are willing. And of course, this actually can be a money-making venture for some graduate who can be able to sit there with a computer, begin coaching and even developing some of these ready-made CVs and make money. It's a job. It can be someone's job. The message to the youth is that we are living in a competitive and complex job environment. Very complex. And therefore, if they want to go to that direction of job seeking, they have no option but to prepare. To prepare to go back to learn and unlearn the basics, yeah, of letter writing, cover letter writing, CV writing, networking skills, and all that has been shared in this conversation. They really need to be proactive. There is no job which will follow one person, and there is nothing like connections. You need to get prepared for the interview, such that if there are people who are connected sitting with you, the interviews, the panelists should have a second look and say, aha, this person did very well. So people should get prepared. They should be honest with themselves that I really don't know this, and they should be able to learn, be willing to learn, either online or even contact a mentor. People should have mentors. Yeah? Then the other thing is people should diversify. the formal employment is getting squeezed. There are opportunities in the private sector to develop skills to make money, that way, to create wealth. There are opportunities in the private sector as well. The kind of education that we have in Uganda is, I think we inherited this education system. It actually teaches our children to pass exams. It doesn't prepare children for their life out there, unless on exactly appear there and so forth. That's why, for instance, I can give you an example that the most vulnerable people now are people who have degrees and don't have employment, formal employment. Whereas our people who have not gone to school are living in the village are resilient. Yeah, they are employing themselves. So that means, therefore, we still have a system which has been serving the colonial masters in place. It actually puts emphasis on grades, pass grades, and then you are done. You can have now even a PhD holder who cannot manage a company. You see? You have a PhD holder who cannot manage or run something. We have PhD holders who have lost jobs. They came to formal employment, they had PhDs, but they cannot measure up. Yeah? So the kind of education that we have needs to be, we need to go, much as someone has a degree, they should add another skill to back up these degrees. Most of the degrees we have are actually modules in some countries. So there is need to rethink. There is, again, I think the issue of career guidance comes in. Yeah? And it's now difficult that when one has parents who have not gone to school, and that is where the gap is. Some of the graduates are not honest with their parents that what I am doing is less competitive in the market. But the message they will take to the parents is that they have refused to give me a job. Yeah? It's not being honest. Let's be honest, have this honest conversation with the parents that the course that I took really is less competitive, and it may take time if I have to look for a formal job.
Yeah, we've been here for the last 2 days. We have a number of graduates in Napak who have not had an employment, who have not had a job for many years. Some even 7 years ago, they graduated 7 years ago, 10 years ago, and they have never found any paying job so that they can utilize their skill. So we have here a job readiness training for graduates who are unemployed. And even we have some graduates who are employed, but later they lost their job, or those who have stagnated in the workplace. Our main focus this time on this training has been on how to find a job, how to retain it and grow in it. We know that it's not obvious that someone can grow or retain a job given the dynamics in the job market. But also the third objective, which I think we want to achieve, is on how to make your job and how to grow it, to make your job for yourself and make your job for others, because we know the formal job sector is really crowded. Only those who can fight for it can get. That means a majority of people must make jobs. We are desperately in need of job creators in our country right now. So we don't want our people, our graduates in Napak, to be the only ones only running after jobs without any idea that they can also create jobs. So that's what we're doing here. We've had a number of speakers who have gone through the journey of the job market, some who have experienced secondary unemployment, who started with their own jobs. They created jobs in a kind of environment. We've had people who also struggled like the people who have struggled here, testifying. We've had them testifying. The sons and daughters from Napak testifying. We have someone external from from Western Uganda, so that the picture can be understood better. As you know, sometimes a prophet can be rejected from home. So that's why we made sure that there was someone from outside to complement what the sons and daughters were giving. I think the training has been good. We've gone through a number of learning how to the essence of applying for a job even. You see, the reality is that most of our graduates, they really graduate when they can't write a letter to look for a job. They can't apply for a job. They don't have a CV. You just get out and sit there and emaciate and go to the village and suffer with your people and then frustrate your people who sacrifice their cows to take you to school. That's the problem we have in Napak, and that's why this burden came on me. Because when I did a village tour in some of our villages and parishes in Napak, and in some villages, I found graduates in a crowd of people whom I was talking to with villagers. In fact, physically, you would not know the difference. They were even worse than the villagers, because the villagers are already resilient. They know how to survive in the village. But this graduate comes from Kampala and doesn't know how to fit in the village. And they get worse. In one of the parishes that I visited, I had a meeting in the parish. The elders complained of unemployment of their sons and daughters, whom they paid for using cows they were selling. So they are the ones carrying the burden of unemployment. Imagine these elders are illiterate elders. The only thing they know is how to take care of their cows. And now they are the ones carrying the burden of unemployment. And then they asked me in a rally, what can you do about unemployment? Our sons and daughters cannot find a job. Of course, I knew that the jobs in Napak district local government are not enough for all of us. So I promised those elders that for your sake, because I've understood the kind of burden you have, I will ensure that we walk together the journey with your sons and daughters on how to look for where these jobs are. And so that's what we are doing now. It is my hope that some of these young people will eventually find value in their skills, in what they do, and that it will translate to those villages, those parishes, that there is value in taking a child to school. As a matter of fact, those incidences I met during our last campaign have affected the level of willingness to take children to school. When an elder tells you, I sold so many cows, and the person came back at home for me to take care of, tell me how you will convince that elder to take another child to school. That's how bad it is. So when we have too many of our children not in school, unemployment explains why. Our people are so wise. They have not been to school. Majority of our elders, they don't know any English, but at least they know the sense of economics. They know that when something is unprofitable, you abandon it. Exactly. They have abandoned education, and that pains me. So if by good luck, if God is on our side, and I think He is, these young people whom the entire parish has sacrificed for should really find what to do and make money and invest after this training, so that the rest of the children in the villages can be released to go to school. Yes, their unemployment is holding the other ones hostage in slavery. Those are the children you see begging on the streets of Kampala. I'm going to Nairobi, going where? That economic sense, those are economic refugees. They are looking for where money is. They go everywhere looking for money, easy money. Because when you go to beg, they will give you, someone will give you money. You go be a housemaid, someone will give you money. But when you go to school, every year they are selling 3 cows for you. And then you study for a minimum of 17, 20 years. About 20 years time is 3 cows. Somebody has sold 60 cows, and then you come back home to be fed. Unbelievable. Unfortunately, this thing has really taken a toll on the people of Napak. One of those graduates, when he couldn't find a job, he got frustrated and came home and he started he resorted into drinking, heavy drinking of crude waragi, just to remove the stress of being irrelevant to a community that has never seen Kampala, that has never been to a university. You come back and be irrelevant.
And only speak English.
And you only can speak good English. I noticed these graduates in my rallies of campaigns. When it was feedback time, they would speak excellent English, but their bodies wouldn't tell you that they went to school. Unfortunately, we lost one just a year after our campaigns. After a year after I had met him, he just died because of too much crude waragi. He couldn't contain. Yes, we had put out 100 slots. By the day of the deadline, we had received only 38 slots. So, and yet the advert ran for 1 week and a half. So when I received the 38 slots, I opened up to another day, gave them another 24 hours on which to apply, because I thought maybe they had not seen the advert. So that extra day, we received 12 more applicants. So when we had a number of 50, it was enough for me to call the experts so that we can have the training. Yesterday, when we started this training, we received additional people who claimed they had not seen the advert. Some said they didn't have mobile phones. As you know, most of these adverts are posted digitally, and I think that's the learning. That next time when we have an opportunity, we should share physical copies, add copies in parishes and in villages, so that people in churches. We made a few announcements in churches, but I think some people did not go to church. Others said they didn't have mobile phones. So we received extra 17 applicants. 17 applicants yesterday as we were starting. So in total here now, we have 67. I think our education system needs to be changed, especially at tertiary level. I know that the Ministry of Education has had some changes on the curriculum at secondary level, and they are now doing a curriculum change for primary. Something needs to be done for tertiary. The university students we are raising them to look for jobs. We're not producing them to make the jobs, even though we know that the job market is so squeezed. Imagine 90% of university graduates cannot find a job in our country. That's the number at least available on Google. That's a very big percentage. And these are people who will graduate and end up becoming frustrated. We need a lot more job creators than people who will look for jobs. We have had anyway a few milestones in our country of people who have looked for jobs. In this training, we brought who have made their own jobs. We brought some samples. We have had some people who made their own jobs and also employed others. They testified how they started it at their young age. We hope that they will learn something, because you have skills. Only what you need is to know how to organize and to remove the fear of starting something which you can do to solve a problem. I am happy in this training the participants highlighted on community problems that require solutions. Now, the education needs to be tailored to providing solutions to the problems in our society. That's when we'll create jobs. Because now, if we are studying something else, and the problem, for example, the problem in our society is food security, and then you are raising people who will not address the problem of food security, what does that mean? They will come and be unemployed. In this training, we have engineers, we have all types of scientists we have here, but there are no jobs. So the question of whether social scientists, whether engineering, whether we have someone who did the quantitative surveying, the first quantitative surveyor in Karamoja, he's in this training. She has never been employed for 10 years. Yes. Yes. So we need a training, education that fits into the problems of our society. We are the problem, especially as the elite parents. Those ones in the villages, we cannot blame them because they don't know. For them, they're just saying, go to school. For the category of the elders who were crying while their daughter has not gotten a job, at least that one can be understood, that there was no one who could give career guidance to that girl. But for us who have had opportunity to have an education, we know that education should be matched with the job market or with the problems in society so that these graduates can provide solutions to the problems. So you're right, the parents, we are to blame because we pride in accolades, we pride in titles. My son is an engineer. So what? My daughter is a doctor. So what? Who is not employed for 10 years? What does that do? That being a doctor, being who, as long as you cannot have your money to solve problems, daily basic needs in our country.
That go and learn how to make briquettes.
Yes.
And make money.
Yes.
You say I cannot.
You say I cannot, you cannot do it. I am a graduate. Actually, those are the ones who are a real disservice to our society. We have many of them now here on our small towns in Napak. We have a lot of graduates. Many of them did not come for this training. Do you know why they missed it? They missed it because they thought that since it is coming from a politician, she's now campaigning. So they have missed that we should have had more than 200 people.
So those who don't want to campaign, don't want to. Unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
It is sad for them, but I also feel bad because it's not about politics all the time. There is time to work. And there is a vision we are looking at. Like now, me, the kind of Napak I want. The kind of Napak I want, I cannot deliver on my own. I need people who will work. The young people who will work and solve problems in their families, in their villages, who will transform their parishes. That's the kind of Napak I want. But to assume that the member of parliament will take care of school fees of every household, it's wrong. We'll take care of all the basic needs. We'll take every child to school. It can't happen. So I need people who will earn income and solve their problems. That's when Napak will develop. I cannot achieve it on my own. Now for people to assume that it is politics all the time, when will we get the Napak we want? It is a failed parenting, but it is also parents who are too selfish. They do not care about the children at all. They look at the children as weapons, as tools that can be used for income. I told you that waiting for 17 years, parents cannot wait for 20 years to educate a child. Now, they cannot wait for a child to become productive in future age so that the child can now take care of himself and take care of the family. And so they assume that when a child, as long as the child can earn income, it is economic. I told you the people in Napak are too bright. That brightness is the one that has wasted us and made us not even think about the dignity of our children. Actually, being born in Napak now is not good. In the entire Uganda, being a child in Napak is the most expensive thing because the moment you are born, if you're really lucky, especially if you're a girl, about 80% chance you will be sold out to the street to beg. If you succeed to become a teenager a bit, you will be married off quickly. In any way, the child will carry the burden. It's a shame.
And then you begin the cycle.
And then you begin the cycle on your children again. You do the same thing. Last year, I told the people of Napak, we had a very tough talk. I told them, tell me the reason why you're sending children to the streets. Everywhere they told me, because of problems, because of what. So I said, do you love the children? Yes, we love the children. Okay. then if you love the children, why don't you go to, if you must survive through going to the street, that's what I told the parents, if you must survive by going to the street, why don't you go to the street by yourself and bring food to the children at home? Because even birds do that. The birds leave their eggs and their young ones in the nest, then they go and look for food. There is no bird on the planet Earth that will send their children to look for food and she waits. It only happens in Napak. So I told them we are worse than that. We cannot take care of our children. Instead, we are enslaving them. I thought they understood, but they have continued to do the same thing. Okay, I know that the KCCA has rounded up a number of our children in preparation for the NAM, and they have taken them somewhere, but that is a temporary measure. The real measure is here in Napak. That's the real solution. When we have parents who value children, when we have parents who know that children are not supposed to be the ones working, when we have parents who are not so selfish that they care about themselves only and not care about their own products, that's when we will see progress. The real solution is back home. Once we solve that, we will have a real sustainable success. But also, because of, I told you, our problem is so much intelligence. Even if they have not gone to school, they know numbers. They know what is profitable. In their eyes right now, begging is more profitable than any other job in Napak, or in Karamoja, or anywhere else. That's the truth. They told me, those children told me, I visited even those in Nairobi. I visited those in the street. I visited those who had been rounded up, who had been taken to Masulita. They told me that on a bad day, they will get 20,000. So 20, yes, on a good day, it's 50. 20 to 50,000 from begging. To them, it's profitable. No job pays that. And so when you tell someone, remove your child from the street, they will say, you are malicing us economically. To solve that problem, we must make street begging unprofitable. That's the only way to manage that sector, by making it unprofitable. Let people go to the street and stay the whole day and make a loss. And stay angry the whole day. Don't get your 20,000. They will come back home on their own and do alternative livelihoods. But when you make begging risky, you will save the children, this 3-year-old, this 5-year-old, at least they will benefit from being children. Then, now you must address the question of teenagers by making them take charge of themselves, that their bodies should not be sold into sexual trade. So at least we will save the babies, the 5-year-old, the 3-year-old, the 1-year-old. Most of them are really below 5 who are on the street. We had some accident crashes on the street. Now, that's the conversation I want to have with KCCA, that make the trade unprofitable, but also if you want to continue being human and you want the people of Kampala to continue being human, then make institutionalized giving for charity, so that there is an account on which those who wish to give, those driving their posh cars and want to give, can give in that account, and then people go to that institution to benefit those who really deserve to be helped. If we do that, we will not stress ourselves as we work on the problems back home of parenting, of the economic challenge back home, of unemployed graduates back home. We will solve this problem. I don't even know why we are not taking action, because the laws, as far as the laws is concerned, if you now tell me to do another bill, there is no bill I can add on what's already existing. The laws protecting children in Uganda are adequate. They are there. The laws holding parents accountable for their duties are adequate. It is only taking action. I was in one parish in Lope sub-county for the last campaign, and one lady, who is even a councillor, rose up, a leader in the area, rose up and said, Nakut, we have heard that you are planning to stop us from exporting our children. If you do that, we are not going to be happy. I hope you not do that in a campaign rally. So for me, I had to explain to them the problems the children go through and why it is important that we take care of the children. For me, that one, I have no apology. Whether there is an election or no election, that one we don't really care. The life of the child is very important because those are the children who will hand over Napak to. In the next 20 years, we may all not be there, but these are children. Now, if these children continue to live the life they live now, it means we'll have closed the entire Bokora in just 20 years of negligence. So it is something we must brave anyway. There should be people willing to brave it. We must tell our people the truth. If the NGOs must help, in my view, the NGO, the civil society actors, all the development partners who mean well for our people, my request is support Napak to have a good environment for children to live in. We have parishes that don't have any primary school. I visited one last month, Namendera parish in Iriri. No primary school, no secondary, no school of any kind. And the children were all living. In fact, they were asking me for a lift. I refused to give them a lift to go and board a bus in Matan so that they can go to school. The place is empty. If we can have a school in places that need a school, that's fine. If we can support those households that are really needy, some income generation, so that they don't see a child as the only resource that can earn income to the family, we will solve this problem. Let's make home better. I'm telling you, make home better. Those ones in the street will come on their own. You don't need to repatriate them. I hate the idea of repatriation. It doesn't add up anything. Actually, it explains why we had many of our children going to the street. The moment partners and government started repatriation, then everybody said, let me go to the street so that I can be brought back and taken care of. Now, you left the ones at home here. I hate repatriation of any sort. Let support be given to those in Napak. Actually, those in Napak are more than those on the street. By the time those ones in Kampala come to visit, because they come to visit anyway, every Christmas they are here, they will see that there is no benefit in being in the street and they will not go back. Okay, to the parents who are taking children to school, aware of these challenges of unemployment, let's not stress our children on what we want them to study. Let's bring out the best in our children in terms of talent. Because then when a child is talented in something, in it, they will earn a living. They will not be unemployed. Let's focus on how to grow talent. Let's focus on problem solving. In fact, let's teach our children from as young as 3 years on problem solving, identifying the problem and looking for a solution. In that way, they will become graduates who know that after university, I will create a solution to a problem in society. There will be nobody unemployed if we did that. Now, to those who are already in school and coming out soon to this crowded job market, my advice is you must put on your shoes properly. The market is stiff. We have people who have stayed at home for the last 10 years. So you're coming to compete with them for the same job. There is no easy way. In fact, those who think that we must connect, there are those who call me, Honorable, connect. Nonsense. Now I connect you. What about the rest of the Ugandans who are looking for the same jobs? What will you do? What will happen? Put on your shoes properly and make sure that you sharpen yourself for the job. It's competition. You must compete, be resilient, where people and creative, be innovative. If a job temporarily doesn't come, find what to do. Find what to do to earn a living. Innovation. Agree with friends. Agree with friends whom you're graduating with, how you will solve a problem in society. In that way, you will even create your own job and employ others. And then you can even now be employed because you will have experience which you have created by yourself.
Thank you for sticking with us to the end. I believe you learned a lot. At least for me, I learned many things. Feel free to share, subscribe, and like this video. We shall meet in the next video. Thank you.